Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I'm Miriam Dow, wife, a mama for real estate investor and entrepreneur. So it is tax season. I see you guys. I see you. I see you. Some people are using their tax money as a booster to pay some bills. Some people are spending it, just throw it in a bag. But honestly, 4 years ago now, I use my 401k as a booster to help me get started in real estate. I believe that you should use your tax money as a booster to get started in real estate. I get DMs every single day. I'm in college. I'm a single mother. I want to get started. Can you help me? Can you train me? I have no money. Single mothers, you are the head of the household, so that tax return is looking very good. Definitely take advantage of your tax return. I know you got the bills. The bills, they're not going anywhere. And when I took my 401k out, I had bills too. I was on furlough. So I wasn't making as much as I'm used to making, and I had bills, but I decided to ignore those bills, take my 401k because them bills ain't going nowhere, take my 401k, use it to invest in my rental property. And now 4 years later, I don't regret that decision. So sometimes it's like you have to make a sacrifice. And I believe that that's something that you can do. Now, a lot of you guys are always asking, how do I get started today? First thing that you need to do, contact a local lender. Credit unions usually give you the best rates. So if you have a credit union near you, by my house, I have a bank called Visions. They're a credit union, a nice small little credit union. To me, they are, because I never heard of them, but they're usually the ones that give you the best rate. Get pre-approved by a lender. Then once you get pre-approved, submit all the paperwork to them. They're going to look at your last 2 years of taxes, a couple pay stubs, see what your debt to income ratio is looking like, and they are going to give you a pre-approval. They're going to say, Mr. Smith, you are pre-approved for $400,000. Now remember, but if you're buying a multifamily, not only are they using your current income, they're also using the projected income you're going to be making from the rental unit, looking at the current rental comps in the area that you're probably looking to buy your investment property in. If it's a triplex, it's going to be a little bit more. If it's a quad, you're going to be approved for a little bit more. So they're going to take the projected income, add that to your current income, and you're going to be qualified for a higher amount to go ahead and invest in the multifamily. So essentially, it's actually easier to buy a multifamily property. I don't think people really understand this, but it's easier because it's the same amount of paperwork. But if you're buying between a single family home and a quadplex, it's the same amount of paperwork. The only thing is you have that projected income that they're adding on, so you automatically get approved for more. Now, a lot of these duplexes that I'm seeing, they're not huge duplexes, so you're not about to go pull out $1 million mortgages. They're like 2-bedroom unit on one side, 1-bedroom unit on the other, 3-bedroom unit on one side, 1-bedroom unit on the other. And as I mentioned in previous videos, if you can actually live in a small unit, even better. So we're gonna get pre-approved. After we get pre-approved, then we know what that number is. They're gonna give you two amounts, one for a single family or one for a multifamily. I'm pushing multifamilies out there because that's how you're gonna achieve financial freedom faster. Now, after you get pre-approved, you contact the realtor. You can contact my realtor, Lila Tabash. A lot of you actually purchase homes from her already, so I really do appreciate that. She's a great realtor. If you're looking to buy a home in New York, I have family members looking that are buying homes. Where is she buying a home? I think in Jamaica, Queens, next to JFK Airport. But the home this particular family member is looking at is like 1.2 million. It's new construction. But of course, in New York City, you're getting so much more for your rent. You're getting like $4,000, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And then she has another basement that she can particularly also turn into like a 1-bedroom unit. So she's going to turn into like a triplex. I mean, I don't really recommend getting into the $1.2 million mortgages because the mortgage that this family member is looking at is like $8,200. Because in my head, the way I see it is you always have to make sure you can afford this rent without a tenant. There's going to be some vacancies there. Like when you have a tenant for a year and they leave, they don't want to renew their lease, they're moving, their family grows. It's going to take you about 1 to 3 to 4 months as a turnaround. If they're moving out in the winter, even worse. No one's really looking for a place to stay in the wintertime. If they're moving out, in the spring and the summer months, it's a better time to look for a tenant. But you have to then go paint the house and, fix up the little things, the little dings and little holes in the TV mounts that they created. And now you have to look for a tenant. In that space, you're gonna have a vacancy and you have to be prepared to pay that mortgage all alone. I don't recommend crazy amounts of mortgages. Hire a realtor, and you tell them what your criteria is. They can put you on an email list. You let them know, hey, I'm looking, some of the things that me and my husband were looking at when we were buying our home, he wanted to be close to the highway, easy access to the highway, because we both worked in New York at the time. We both still work in New York, but I work remote now, so he can easily drive to the city. So when there's no traffic, like when I'm coming back from my mom's house, like 10 p.m. at night, I get home in 25 minutes. If it's a little bit of traffic, 38 minutes. So it's still well under 45 minutes, even with traffic, which I can dig it. If you are remote, you can even look, I'm not too familiar with the counties, but I live in Bergen County. If you're remote, which is, Bergen County is fairly closer to New York City. I go to New York now maybe twice a month. When I first moved, I was going all the time. Now I'm not going as often, because I like my peace and my quiet, so now I'm not really going to the city as often. So you can look into houses that are 40 minutes out, 1 hour out. I think an hour out is decent if you're going to the city twice a month to visit family. And the further out you go, the more house you get for your money. So looking to keep that in mind. Another thing I wanted to touch on, 401ks. I didn't know this, but when I worked at Mercedes-Benz, I was distributing 10% of my income. I started working at Mercedes-Benz when I was 21 or 22. And I didn't know nothing about 401ks. But when I was getting onboarded, like my orientation, it was me and another gentleman that was well over his 50s. And the person that was onboarding us telling us about the 401k. So the gentleman was like, I've never seen anything like this before. And he has worked for a lot of companies. And even the lady that was onboarding us, telling us about the benefits of the 401k, she was just like, these are some great benefits like I've never seen. I forgot the matching, but Mercedes-Benz did match. So from the get-go, I enrolled in 10%. That's why I had such a large amount of money after being in the workforce, because I started working there in 2012 and I left and I started investing in 2020. So in 8 years, I had all that money in my 401k because I was doing 10%. I never even saw the money. It would just get directly cut out. So if I had, do the math yourself, that was a big chunk of money. And then when I went to the company I work for now and I started making 5 figures a month, that 401k was just growing rapidly. And the only time I would disable my 401k was when I went on maternity leave, so that I'm not, still held accountable to make those deposits with no income coming in. I believe it was T. Rowe Price. I think it's different now. Yeah, I think I'm on Vanguard, I believe. I don't know. But T. Rowe Price, after this, I learned that you can actually take some money out as a home, not a investment property. So this is a home that you have to be living in. And the terms are so much better because the interest rate, you were just paying it back to yourself. So the details on that are a little, off for me, but the terms are so much better. And you were able to break that payment down as long as you wanted. I forgot. But essentially it would come out of your 401k. You use that as a down payment. So for you youngsters out there that don't really know the benefits of a 401k, if you have a 401k with your company, look into it, because little benefits like this definitely helps. Like I don't invest into my 401k now because I'm investing in real estate, but definitely I do recommend investing in your 401k as a new person in the workforce, or, even not as a new person. And if you've been investing in your 401k, even better, you probably have a large lump sum that you can go ahead and use. And these are for people who don't already have a home where they could tap into the equity. So your 401k, along with your tax return, are two things that can really propel your real estate investing journey. I looked at a house that just hit the market. 21 Bergen Avenue in Bergenfield, New Jersey. I'm familiar with this town. It's a really nice town and it's close to the city. This house is $565,000. It's multifamily, so it's a duplex, 2-bedroom, 1 bath on one side, 1 bedroom, 1 bath on the other side. 5% down comes out to $28,250. around $12,000 for closing costs. It could be lower or higher. So that comes out to $40,250. And I put the interest rate a little bit higher than it is. I believe it's in the sixes now, but I put it up at 7% just to leave a little bit of room for error. That gives you a monthly mortgage payment of $4,924 a month. This is for my New Yorkers who still want to, be able to commute to the city. This property right here is about 25 minutes from New York City. The 2-bedroom, 1 bath, if you rent that out, you can get around $2,500 for that in Bergenfield. The 1-bedroom, 1 bath, if your family is small enough for you to live in that. Now, keep in mind, when you have a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, you also have the basement. So you can also convert that basement too. If the 1-bedroom, 1 bath is on the ground level, you can also convert that basement into another unit. You can go ahead and put a bed down there, add a bathroom to that. Of course, if you're going to be living in the basement, I always recommend you put an egress window. This just in case, God forbid, there's a fire and there's no way for you to exit. You want to be able to exit through the egress window, right? So that's what makes it illegal for you to have to actually be living in the basement. But you can always convert these things. And this is just a temporary sacrifice, like I mentioned in my previous videos, because you're just going to be living here 12 months before you move into either your second duplex or into your forever home with your family. Once the tenant pays $2,500, because you're going to be renting out that 2-bedroom, 1 bath, you're left with a mortgage of $2,424. So no, you're not going to be living rent-free the first year, but within 12 months, once you move out of this unit, and if you decide you just want to, move into a single family home, that's totally fine. You have 2 tenants paying down your mortgage, but with this mortgage being so high, and with that 1 bedroom, you can usually get around $1,300. It's still not enough to cover the mortgage. That's why the more units you add and the more equity you're getting into the sweat equity as the years go by, that's how your net worth actually grows. So it doesn't really make sense to just do this with 2 units and then move into a single family home. The numbers make more sense once you add on the units. So second year, at least move into another duplex, and then that's when you start to live rent free, because now you got 3 tenants to pay for your mortgage. So just wanted to give you a real life example, because you guys really like the other one I just did. And this is a property that's been on the MLS, I believe 12 days, so not too many days. But honestly, keep telling people this, even if you're not ready to buy a house now, maybe 6 months, maybe not even this year, you can still get pre-approved. It is free, okay? Contact the lender, send them your tax returns, send them the pay stubs, they check your credit, they're gonna tell you, you know what, right now it's looking like you could get approved for this amount. But the good thing about getting pre-approved is the lender will then again tell you, like, if you're looking to buy a house in the next 6 months, if you're looking to buy a house Q4 of 2024 or Q1 of 2025, they'll be like, well, these are the areas that you need to work on. Let's work on you making a little bit more income. Let's work on getting your credit score to this. Let's work on getting your spouse's credit score. They'll tell you what you need to work on. So I never told you guys this, but back in 2016 was when I wanted to buy my primary residence with my husband. But I left Mercedes in 2016 and went to the job that I'm at now. And I was ready, y'all. I had my son in 2013, so it was already 3 years of me, ready to buy this property and move out of Harlem. And I left my job, I believe, February 28th of 2016, and March 1st was my first day at my new job. Now I contact the lender, I send him all the information. He was like, oh, you didn't tell me you were switching jobs. And my job is not a job that just gives me a salary. I have a base salary and I also have commission. The majority of my income comes from the commission. So when he saw that, he was like, unfortunately, we have to, usually like lenders want to see 2 years of you working at a new job. Now this job was very similar to the old job. The pay was more, but they still needed to see a consistent income. Me getting a whole new job messed it up for me because it was a commission-based income. But with them, telling me what I needed, he was like, you know what? It's actually not a bad thing, because my credit score was okay. I could have bought the house, but he was like, this is gonna allow your credit score to get stronger, starting to rack up the months, the years at working at this job. And then I actually got pregnant, had my daughter in December, and with less than 12 months of working at this job, January came around and I was still looking at houses. I was at home on maternity leave, and I hit up the lender and I'm like, hey, I know you told me 2 years. I think he had said a full year. He said usually it's 2 years, but he could help me out in a year. And a year would be, you know, that March. Like, hey, I know you said a whole year. I'm on maternity leave now. I have a little bit more time on my hands. So just, you know, shooting you an email to see if there's any way that I can even just start looking at homes. If you could just pre-approve me. He was like, all right, send me your last pay stub for the previous year, which was, you know, that last December check, so he can see what everything looks like. Because at the time, we didn't even get our W-2s yet. And he saw my last check and he was like, oh, you're good to go. Sent me a pre-approval letter and everything. He was like, you're good to go. And I started looking at houses immediately. So things can change. Just because the lender said, oh, you got to wait a year, it doesn't really mean you have to wait a year. Every person's scenario is a little bit different. And since I made so much money that those first 8 months that I was working with the company, it biased everything else. They're like, she can afford it, she's good, it's the same job. You know, you write a letter and they get a letter and they know what to do if you have a good lender that's looking out for you. So never let a no be discouraging, because in reality, my credit score boosted, and then all that income that I made at the job, I was literally just saving. You know, it allowed both me and my husband to just save more money towards our down payment. So it was a blessing in disguise, to be honest. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm rooting for you.